welcome back to Jen's Jungle, and today I'm in Budapest. I am here on holiday, but one of the places I particularly wanted to go to whilst in Budapest was the zoo. Now I love going to zoos. I tend to always find one when I'm on holiday. Now I know zoos can be a bit controversial, and there are definitely some bad ones out there, but myself, if they're involved in conservation work, then I think that is a good thing overall. But we're not going to get into the big zoo debate. The reason I wanted to go to Budapest Zoo in particular was because they keep degus. So for those of you who watch the channel, you'll know that I am degu mad. I have loads of degus and I do a fair bit of degu content. So I really wanted to come and see degus in a zoo. I've not seen them in a zoo before. It'd be really interesting to see how they're kept. Do they sort of do similar care as pet care, or is it very different? It'll also be great to see a large colony of degus. So I myself have quite a large colony of degus, about 20 in one of my groups. However, this is quite rare. Most people who keep them in smaller groups, which is great. They should always be kept in groups, but you don't need to keep them in big groups, and big groups have their own difficulties. But as I do have a big group, it'll be great to see another big group, because you don't often get this. So I'm just really interested to see how they care for them. You can see one just here. So I'm just really interested to see how they care for them. Will that give me any ideas for pet care? Will they be caring for them well in a zoo? Do they know what their needs are? Or will it not be so great? So this is all the reason why I wanted to come here in particular. So let's say hello to some Budapestan degus. So here the lovely degus are. I couldn't count how many there were, but there is a fair group here. Not sure if they're males or females, but I couldn't see any pregnant or young ones. So I'm assuming they are one sex, but obviously I couldn't tell this just from looking from the outside. Here is the enclosure. As you can see, it is a decent size. They've got plenty of space to run, and they've got some great high perches that they can get up on. So this is great for degus, as they can both run and climb. There's lots of branches and fake rocks for them to get onto. Now, the setup's not exactly mirroring their wild environment. However, I do think it gives them a decent setup, and they seem happy in it. They particularly seem to enjoy huddling together on these rocks. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is their diet. Now, it's really hard to judge their diet just from this one-off view. You can see they've got some sort of pellets. It's impossible to know what these pellets are, but hopefully they're degu safe. Now, the veg. This isn't really veg that should be fed regularly to degus, but without knowing how regular it is fed to them, it's impossible to really judge that. I would say they don't seem to have signs of diet-related illnesses, so they don't have cataracts, which are a main sign of diabetes, which they would probably have if they were having too much sugar too regularly. So it's hard to pass that much judgment on the diet. If this is what they're being fed every day, it would definitely be wrong. But as a one-off, it is kinda acceptable. But would definitely need more information about their diet to really form a strong opinion on this. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about, which I'm definitely against, is the use of these metal wheels. So these wheels are actually really unsafe for degus. The metal mesh can cause damage to their feet and get them infections, such as a bumblefoot. And they can also get caught in the crossbar, where you see the metal bar going across. They can actually get caught, and animals have been killed this way. So definitely not a fan of the wheels. Would be much better for them to switch them out. But we don't really know what access they have to different wheels being in Budapest. My opinion would be, given the size of the enclosure and how much they can run, it would be better just to get rid of the wheels altogether. So the diet and the wheels would be my main concerns. However, you can see here that they do seem healthy and active degus. They seem bright-eyed. Their coats are in good condition. They seem a decent weight. They're not really skinny, nor are they super overweight. Overall, they appear healthy and active. This little one was super adorable. So I think that's the sort of main positive about this, is they seem healthy and active. The enclosure does seem to allow them to exhibit natural behaviours, such as running and climbing. The bedding on the floor seems to be a mixture of straw and hay. I did see some of them burrowing in it, which is another great behaviour. So in terms of the straw and hay, they do need an unlimited supply of hay to eat. So that's really important. The straw, although they can't eat it, it is an acceptable bedding, I believe. It's not one I use personally, and it's not one I'd recommend for most pet degus. I do believe safe wood beddings and soft paper beddings are better, but Asu probably has easier access to hay, so I feel that's probably why it's being used here. In terms of if there's anything I would take from this setup and care to my animals, so I definitely like the sort of naturalistic rock and branch setup. I think this looks nice, and I feel like it would also give good enrichment to the degus. Obviously doing a sort of full rock background isn't possible in my sort of cage, I've got a critination, but definitely making some sort of more climbing structure would be great. I'll be giving this a think about how to do this. Maybe buying some fake rocks and also getting some more branches. But it's definitely given me something to think about. I did really like seeing the degus here. I was a bit worried about seeing them in a zoo in case they were badly taken care of, as this would probably make me quite sad. But these guys seem lovely. Definitely a few tweaks, but overall I was quite impressed, and we just got to admire how super cute they are. So overall, I don't think the degus here have been kept too bad at all. The wheels aren't great, I don't like them. And the food is questionable, but without knowing more about what their sort of routine is, what their diet is in the long run, it's really hard to judge that. They don't have signs of diet-related illness, so they don't look like they've got like cataracts, which would be the main sign of diabetes. So overall, I think they're being kept okay. Definitely some improvements, but they look happy and healthy. And it's given me some ideas about sort of making some naturalistic rock setups and some branches in mine, to maybe give mine a bit of a more interesting setup. So definitely worth visiting. The rest of the zoo was also great. I will add some clips in to show that. But if you'd like more degu content, please like and subscribe to keep up to date with the Goose and the entire Jungle Gang. But for now, I'll see you back in England soon.